Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page. Tonight's movie is 1976's Slumber Party 57. This is Slumber Party 57. This DVD that I'm holding, I believe, is the only DVD release of this film, put out by Substance Video in 2009. You can see the Substance Video logo right there. They also, I believe, put out the film that I reviewed from Jess Franco, Linda, as well. It looks like, specifically for this release and the other release, Linda, that they do take VHS copies and kind of transfer them onto the DVD with no remastering, really, but a good VHS copy. And they'll put on here as well, they'll put a scene access and also a slideshow set to music. So the Substance does do a good job. It says in the front here, Bobby socks, hickeys, ponytails, necking, and all the rest of the quote-unquote innocent 50s. This film is from 1976. It is the first film from the famous Hollywood actress Deborah Winger. Yes, folks. We also have Cheryl Rainbow Smith in this film, as well as some other girls that I've never seen before also in this film. We have a cast of 6 main girls in this film. This is a really, really wild teen sexploitation film. First off, let's start off with the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this film is simply unbelievable if you like the best of the 50s. I mean, we have every as it says in the back here, the Platters, the Big Bopper, Paul and Paula, Bruce Channel, Jerry Lee Lewis. Unbelievable soundtrack. It almost reminds me of those Israeli sexploitation films. I think they're called Pink Lemonade and things like that, with a soundtrack, and it taking place kind of in the 50s, even though it's from the late 70s. The music is really unbelievable, and you can get the music very, very easily and very cheaply on the original vinyl soundtracks on Amazon or eBay. There are tons of them out there, it seems. If you go on eBay, you can find a ton of movie posters for this film, as well as 8 tracks and lots of other goodies like laser discs and things like that. This film has not, I don't believe it has a cult status, this film, yet, and it should. So I hope this video helps to talk about this film more. Hopefully it doesn't raise the prices of all the goodies, so get your stuff now on eBay and Amazon, including this DVD release, which is available on Amazon. You can get this, and it is not a DVD-R. Okay, it is a real copy. This particular film basically takes 6 girls having a slumber party, and each one of them talks about their first time having sex. And then what you do is, like in an anthology film format, you go into that story of the girls having sex for the first time and getting de-virginized. So that is kind of what the film is based like. It's almost like an anthology film on their sexual awakenings, but kind of in between there, you have the girls going to a you have girls going to a drive-through, a very sexual car race, and the stories themselves are very different than the next. I mean, you have really different environments. A drive-in that's showing a famous underground horror film. You have a horse ranch. You have kind of a highway adventure, also at a vending store with some violence. I mean, you have a lot of different adventures in here. You have a Hollywood studio. So the actual anthology stories really take you all over the place. But the girls also kind of take a break from the stories and hang out at the house, and then also have some really wild swimming going on, underwater stuff and all that kind of stuff. The style of this film, I got to tell you, the filming style of this movie. Now this movie, it's pretty wild stuff. It was directed by William A. Levy, and the cinematography was by Robert Caramico. The filming of this is a really high energy filming, and the edits are very high energy as well. It's predominantly in the first half of the film, especially you can sense in the first 20 minutes. The fades, the edit fades are very wild. They're like whoosh, or like flipping like that, which was fairly common in kind of teen exploitation films that take place in the 50s, like Screwballs and things like that. Screwballs 1. but the editing is really unbelievable, and the cinematography is really, really great too. We have some great underwater stuff, some slow mo, some weird cuts where you're not sure if it was a mistake in the source material or if it was actually done. Like some really bizarre things. Really keeps you on your toes. This is not like a lot of sexploitation, teensploitation films where you have it almost reminds you kind of like an after-school special drama in the way that it's filmed. If you catch my drift, this is not one of those films, and it seems like a lot of the times that the '50s teensploitation films kind of have this high energy vibe to them. Now, while this film supposedly takes place in '57, you know, you have some great. Car shots, convertible shots, things like that. You got the outfits loosely, but it's not like you're like, oh wow, this is definitely '57. You know, it's not like if you're not into the '50s, it's not going to be like you're dominated by the '50s in this film, if you catch my drift. And if you're into the '70s, I think you're really going to, this will really be for you. Now the music is totally '50s, and the music is friggin' awesome. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds here. You're getting, the '50s, but you're also getting a healthy dose of the late '70s, which is when this film was released. In terms of the characters in this film, the six main girls in this film are amazing. Everything they offer, everything that a film like this should offer, which is, number one, these girls look young. They look like they're actually having a slumber party. Also, the girls are very attractive. All six of them in their own ways. They're innocent. They're very sexy. I would almost go out to say that definitely this is like the sexiest crop of girls in one of these films that I've seen. Definitely in the tops. Very, very sexy, very erotic. And the way that the film is filmed and shot is very sleazy, very erotic, almost in a European Jess Franco type of way, where the camera is really focusing on their body parts, predominantly legs, feet, and for one of the actresses, butt. And you're going to be really partaking in these girls in nighties and panties and bare butt. You're going to see their breasts. You're going to see a bunch of guys' butts, and you're going to see a girl's butt, but you're not going to be seeing any vagina in this film at all. But there are sex scenes in this film, but the sex scenes are not long. They're short. Although I would say that the lead-ups to the sex scenes are the most erotic in many regards. As a matter of fact, I would say that this is probably one of the most erotic teensploitation films I've seen, definitely in the tops. The dialogue is very kind of explicit and almost in a porno way at times, but it's very sexy. It's very sexy at the same time, and it really kind of gets your blood going. It's a really, really erotic and very sleazy film, but a very kind of fun-loving film at the same time, with some pretty wild sexual adventures and sexual dialogue and sexual stories to boot in here. Now, I will tell you something else in this film. There are great locations in this film, great environments in this film, but one thing in particular, the girls are having a slumber party in Rainbow's, the character of Rainbow's dad or parents' mansion, and holy crap, what an amazing mansion. It's lit like the movie Suspiria by Dario Argento in some weird ways, but it's just such an awesome mansion. The swimming pool is awesome. The vibe of this film at night, it really reminds you of the like Slumber Party Massacre or all the '80s slasher films or the late '70s slasher films with a bunch of like half-naked girls. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of times during this film where you're kind of, where's the killer? Where's the slasher? It gives you that vibe. There's even a twist in the film, and I got to tell you also that this film is explicit in tone and in theme. We have a heavy dose in this film of underage girls who love really older men, almost basing it off of the story of Lolita at one point. We also have stories involving, like I said, pedophilia, but also incest, and in one of the weirdest situations, bestiality in some bizarre way, and there's something coming out of animal's mouth, and and lesbianism and things like that. So this film is really wild. I can't express to you how far this film feels to go. Now, it is an R-rated film. It has our official MPAA R rating on this film, but it's a very promiscuous, sleazy, erotic film. Um, you know, if you're looking for a film that will really satisfy on the teen exploitation, high in the creep factor, very sexy film, this Slumber Party 57 is the film for you. Awesome soundtrack, really original stories in here, and the characters, and there's a freaking bizarre fight scene in this movie. With bizarre editing, holy crap! It comes out of nowhere. You don't even know what the heck is going on. I mean, it's very wild. And you know, there's like I said, it kind of gives you the vibe of the leering cinematography in almost the way of the film from the 70s, the early 70s, The Cheerleaders, part one, which I'll be looking at in the future here on this YouTube page. You know, Slumber Party 57. It's just a really awesome movie. Now this transfer obviously looks like VHS. You can also get the VHS copies on eBay and Amazon for really cheap, folks. So this is a film, really that satisfies on a high sexual level of the teen exploitation, sexploitation type films. I mean, you're going to get the skin. You're going to get really sexy girls, and you're going to get great stories and some humor. But it's not like there's no goofball humor per se in this film. Okay, it's not like that, like Screwballs or things like that. And I love that stuff, but it's not really in this film. You're going to get some great sequences with girls driving in the convertibles and things like that, and you're going to get some wild characters in this film, and even a burglar. Okay, just really wild stuff. Older men, younger girls, stories of the cherries being popped. Here we go, folks. Slumber Party 57, and this review goes out to Sick Nick. Yes, you know who you are. You recommended this film to me, so Sick Nick, this goes out to you. Slumber Party 57, thank you so much, folks, for watching the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube channel. This is where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, and this is definitely one of them. This is put out by Substance Video. This was put out in 2009. You can pick this up anywhere. You can also pick it up in a multitude of formats right now for cheap, and a great soundtrack. Great actors. Don't forget Rainbow and Deborah Winger. Yes, Deborah Winger, you will see naked in this film. Folks, topless. Thank you so much, and look at all my other reviews in this channel with a core emphasis on Jess Franco. Many more Jess Franco to come, and all these wonderful films. Thank you so much, folks, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thanks again, and have a good night.